These waves are pushing in, definitely, and I'm thinking maybe sit right here, and that energy right off the rock is where I'm talking. I think I just found it. I think I'm starting to figure this out. This is gnarly. Good morning, everybody. How are you? I hope you guys are having the best day ever, psyching out of your mind, living your best summer life. You probably just got blasted. Let's turn around. Still learning how to walk into sunlight. Jeez, it's like it's my first day holding a camera. But anyway, we are getting this day rolling. Why, you ask? Well, we are on a mission today. We are on a novelty wave hunt. And in case you guys are wondering what a novelty wave is, it is basically a wave that breaks somewhere funny or, you know, is somewhere where you wouldn't think about surfing, like in a river or maybe in a weird little bay that doesn't have waves or in a channel next to a boat that has wake. So basically, I had a comment on my last YouTube asking about more novelty waves, and we are going to be on a mission this morning to find one. Yoo! Basically, we're going to get the 8.0 catch surf Jamie O'Brien log waxed up in just a minute, and that's what we're going to take out. And I have a mission. We are going to head to one of the jetty inlets into one of the lagoons here by my house, and we are going to surf the inside of the jetty along the rocks. Should be super sketchy. Who knows how it's going to go? The tide is dropping. It's getting low. I'm feeling like low tide is the best option. I haven't done this before. I'm not the best expert on this. It is my first time going out and doing something like this, but I am super excited to do this. I'm actually going to take you guys upstairs for just 1 second and explain a little bit about why I'm getting into this, even though I've never done it before. So I'll see you upstairs in just a second. All right, guys, I got a little coffee. Let me just explain the story to you guys real quick. So basically, I got into vlogs back in March of 2020 when the world shut down. It was the last personal surfing experience I could find because the beaches in this area were shut down and I couldn't surf. And after finding Jamie O'Brien, I found Ben Gravy because of him, and he is literally the Novelty King. His girlfriend Tina Cohen is the Novelty Queen, and actually there's a list, if you check my YouTube channel, there's a channel page of featured channels, and there's a list of all the people that have inspired me to do this. Jamie O'Brien, Ben Gravy, Tina Cohen, Brett Barley, Koa Rothman, the Sickos, Justin Lebsack, Justin Graham. That might be it that's listed on there, and there's more that I haven't put on yet, but basically Tina Cohen, the Novelty Queen, and Ben Gravy, the Novelty King, have been riding funky waves. Ben longer than Tina, I think, but both of them nail it, and since there's already a king and a queen of this, I guess that makes me the Novelty Peasant, and I'm out today to figure out how this is going to go working. We have a dropping tide. I don't know how that's going to work with the rocks. Basically, there's a lifeguard stand near where I'm heading. I'm hoping the lifeguards aren't going to kick me out or ticket me for doing this. Hopefully I don't get hurt. This is something I don't recommend to everyone at home, but it is something fun that I'm going to try and show you guys. So, yeah, I hope that kind of sums everything up. Oh, and real quick, Dernies, the official sponsor of me and this channel. I'll drop a link in the description below, as always. All right, everybody, here is the situation. We are on the beach, and we are about to go check out the jetty and see what the situation is for surfing inside there and finding the novelty dream. Whew. Okay, so finishing this up by running up here because the sand is freaking hot. Okay, first good sign though, as we pull up at the inlet, is that the lifeguard stand I told you about right next to it has nobody on it. So first things first, there's no one here that's gonna hopefully tell me I can't be here. So there's a couple people fishing, but I think the novelty dream is on. We're gonna walk out to the rocks and see what this is all about. Yo! So at first glance, there is definitely an onshore breeze, but with the waves that are coming in, if you take a look over here, they're gonna kind of rock off this rock jetty, and some of them are peeling in. A lot of them are not. They're breaking right on the rocks. I'm thinking as the tide fills in a little bit, it might get better, but let's take a quick look and see what we got going on here. So here's what we're looking at. As you can see, the wave comes in, breaks right on the jetty. I'm not sure quite where I'm gonna be able to catch that and try and get out in front. I think we need a little bit more water. See what happens when a bigger one comes in here. See right there, that's the hump I need to get on over there. See, like I said, I am the Novelty Peasant, trying to get my bearings and kind of figure out where I need to be. With the oncoming tide pushing into the lagoon and under the bridge, I'm thinking a little bit more water might help. These waves are pushing in definitely, and I'm thinking maybe sit right here, and that energy right off the rock is where I'm talking. I think I just found it. I think I'm starting to figure this out. There's actually some fun little dreamers out here. Look at this one coming in. Okay, here is the situation. I think, being new to this, I don't want to wait any longer. I don't know if it's going to get worse with more water. At first it looked like it needed more water with the tide coming in a little bit, but we have a swampy tide today that's coming in this evening. It's probably already pushing towards 3 feet. So I don't want it to get smothered. Sorry, I'm just trying to pace myself walking through the rocks. But yeah, I think this is where we're gonna call it. I'm gonna get suited up. I will see you in the water in 3, 2, 1, boo! All right guys, quick update. We were back at the house because I forgot this little GoPro housing to connect over the GoPro that connects to the screw and the mouth mount that I'll be using to film surfing, but that's okay because honestly, as the day's been going on, I've gotten a little hungry and nothing says summertime lunch like leftover hamburgers you grilled yourself from the night before. Yoo! All right, guys, we are back at the beach, back at the jetty. We are not letting that little snafu end this day. We are getting out there. Thank you guys for all your patience, love, and support. Remember, new videos come out every Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we are heading out there right now. Let's start that music, and I will see you in the water in 3, 2, 1, boo! This is gnarly. Lifeguard told me I can't do lifestyle photo shoots and video shoots over by the jetty, but I can get swept out to sea over here, so there's that. But we're just over here living our best life. Thank you guys for all the support. What's the claim for the camera real quick?
Nothing much, hit that subscribe button.
That's right, you guys gonna subscribe or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you boys. Woo! You heard those groms? Sub, sub, sub. Woo! That was gnarly. I'm just trying to wrap my head around what just happened today. I mean, wow. First off, I'm going to just come right out and say this. Do not go surfing outside of your means, doing anything that you don't feel comfortable with, and definitely do not go surfing in things like boat channels, inlets, canals, places that you're not familiar with. What I did today is not something that everyone should do. Leave things like this to professionals. But with that being said, I will say my biggest mistake was not having someone there with me, and a backup plan in case things got hairy, which literally got hairy almost immediately. So like I said, my public service announcement to you guys is do not attempt these things at home. This is not a suggestion video. This is a video to give you guys some stoke and some psych and, you know, show you some excitement, but I'm not recommending to do these things. But with that being said, I do want to go over what happened, and basically to give you guys a rundown. As you saw, I forgot the housing to my GoPro, which was the first problem in a set of multiple problems and steps that I could have prevented. First thing was double checking all my gear before I left. The second problem was that when I left and wasted 45 minutes of time, where when I left I should have been getting in the water. It looked ideal then. The tide had just switched. The water was moving just a little bit, and I thought that those were all beneficial things. A little tide push, a little water movement, a little onshore wind. But with a 6-foot high tide a few hours later, that is a significantly rising tide, and I was just so focused on getting that housing, eating my cheeseburger, which, you know, whatever, and then getting back to the beach as quickly as possible. I should have at least hopped up on those rocks and checked what the water looked like, and that was my biggest mistake, because what ended up happening was I raced down to the water's edge, got my leash on, got my camera ready, got everything set up, and could have taken 3 minutes to walk over to the rocks, walk up on top, and take a glance down and actually seen what was happening, because I think I would have changed my mind and put off paddling out until later. Alright, so basically, I picked up my board and paddled out around the south side of the Pono jetty, and all was fine. Surf was in that 2 to 4 foot range. I was on the 8-foot catch surf, Jamie O'Brien log, and once I got out to about as far as the edge of the south jetty sticks out into the water, it was pretty choppy. There was a lot of water moving, and significantly more water than I was expecting, but I had surfed there before, so I kind of knew that it was a little funky right there, but it never really surfed right in front of the opening of the inlet. And basically, I started paddling around the first jetty, the south jetty, and I'm looking at the tip of the north jetty, and I'm looking at where the humps are coming in, and the wave is breaking, and I'm thinking, all right, that's where I need to get. And all of a sudden, I mean, I'm fighting through like some legit ocean chop, and like more open sea style, and that's because there was a variety of currents moving in multiple directions. Duh. Water was bouncing off of the jetty as well as funneling in there, and I wasn't thinking about how fast that basically river of water was moving. If you think about water kind of like wind, and when you take a gust of wind and you force it between, let's say, like buildings in New York City, or like mountain ranges, gorges, canyons, whatever, basically you take that wind and you force it into a narrow path, it speeds up. And that's the same concept with water. So if you think about the whole Pacific Ocean heading towards those jetties and then just trying to squeeze in, as well as the water rising, as well as it's coming in fast, it basically was a river, a very fast moving river. And what ends up happening is, right off the bat, I see a wave coming and I think I'm in perfect position. I take a couple strokes, I'm bouncing as I'm trying to get over the chop, and could not catch up to it. And within a blink of an eye, I was in that river and getting sucked back. And I remember thinking, okay, this isn't too bad, and I'm paddling, and then all of a sudden I realized, like, I'm paddling and I'm going backwards. So I really start picking it up, and for like 5 to 10 minutes I was paddling, and I could see on the south jetty 2 kids and their dad. They weren't really paying attention to me. I wasn't acting like I was in distress or giving them any reason to look at me, but I was noticing them, and what I noticed is that in that 10-minute span or less, I was still next to them. I had been putting out all my energy, and I could not make any dent in where I was at. And basically, I started thinking, maybe I could make it to the rocks. And what ends up happening is I turn my board a little bit, I just start getting swept back even faster, because now I'm perpendicular to the current and it's just sweeping me. But I noticed that it's kind of beelining me towards the rocks, and I think, you know what, this would be a perfect scenario. I can get over to the rocks before the bridge, climb up on them, climb out of here, perfect. So I basically put it in my head, like, you're gonna get yourself out of this. You are not gonna flag anyone down for help. This is totally attainable. And I just put all my effort into it. I don't think I've ever paddled that hard for that long. And I finally was coming up towards, you know, further of like halfway mark to the end of the jetty. And I realized something. If I hug the rocks, which actually seems like the more dangerous place to be because it's more shallow and they're sticking out, the current isn't as bad. Most of the current is actually funneling in the middle of the lagoon. So if you have the two jetties here, the current is flying here, but along the rocks, it's not as bad. So I just kind of hugged the rocks as close as I could, worked my way out, took my time getting around, and once I got up onto the beach, all was good. I started taking a couple videos quick just to get some lifestyle shots and some water shots. And then, of course, of all times, the lifeguard comes over and flags me down, blows his whistle, and says, "Hey, get out of the water. You can't be swimming here." And I'm like, literally, I can't be here with my GoPro because if you were actually maybe paying attention, you would have seen me actually get myself into trouble. But I'm glad you didn't see because you probably would have been super ticked. And yeah, so this definitely got sideways quick, and that's one thing to take away from this is that the ocean is no joke, and she doesn't play. She means business, and you should always take her seriously. If there's anything I can take from that, is going to be that, as well as maybe thinking a little bit more, constantly checking my situations, the surroundings, what the water's doing. That was, you know, a definite kook move on my part, and I feel kind of dumb for that. On another note, it was super good to get over in between Grandview and Beacons and catch some waves on the longboard after that. I gotta say, it is hectic in the water with all the swimmers. It's summer in Southern California. It is packed at the beaches, and might need to start thinking about different places to surf to try and avoid the crowds. But all in all, it was an awesome day. I just want to thank you guys so much for all the support. Remember, new videos come out every Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Click right here to subscribe, and right here to watch more videos, and we will see you here next week.